Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Sleeper. Sleeper, the absolute best place to play fantasy football. Head over to Sleeper, guys. Enter promo code DUDES100, and they will match you up to $100. What is up, my dudes? This is Trent with the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. I am joined by Jordan, Phil, and Seth. Today's episode, we are going to finish our Ballin or Fallin, some Jayden Daniels rankings talk, then the huddle, then we're going to do a subtle put down Mount Rushmore. Stay till the end for that. Everything is bookmarked in the show notes, guys, so go check that out if you want to skip around. Let's jump right into this, though, Phil. We finished with quarterbacks and wide receivers. If you want to go to that, head over. I'll put a link right here, and you can check that out. If you want to go quarterbacks and running backs, we're going to dive into wide receivers and tight ends, do a little bit of QB rankings and some other good stuff like that. So, Phil, you want to take it from here, big guy?
Yes, I will take it from here. First and foremost, Seth, what are you wearing there, buddy? You got like a long sleeve, kind of like a lined shirt. What's going on there? I feel like this guy's kind of dressing nice for our pod. Does anyone else get that?
I got the shirt for I don't know. There's like a Christmas themed party where you're supposed to wear like a certain nationality. I got Italy, and so I got those striped shirts. The guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
wear gondolas.
So yeah, that's the shirt, and I wanted to grab a long sleeve, and it was the first one I saw in my closet, so I put it on.
Yeah.
Seth's feeling fancy day.
Head over to YouTube, see Seth dressed up as the Italian Stallion. Also has a haircut, and he looks like he is 12. So check that out at TFF Dudes at YouTube. Give us a like and give us a sub. Phil, wide receiver rankings, buddy. Here we go.
The last point I'll make. Fallin or Ballin. The last point I'll make is that listener Aaron let Trent have a hat. I still don't have a hat. Went so far as saying I would buy one of those hats, and Trent is proudly repping it. So give a shout out there to listener Aaron. Fallin or Ballin? All right, moving on here. So Fallin or Ballin? DJ Moore. I believe he finished number 6? 16?
16 this year. Last year he was 6, so he did fall a little bit here, Phil. We're thinking, do we think he's a little bit more in that top 10 window? Do we think he's closer in that teen window? And Seth, if you could pull up the ADP there for Underdog, I have a link right there. You could do the best ball and you kind of take us from there, right there. But yeah, I'm gonna go with DJ Moore still balling here. I'm gonna do a bounce back. I think Caleb Wilson is better. I like the hire of Ben Johnson. Sorry, Caleb Williams. My bad. Ben Johnson over there in Chicago. Me and Jordan talked about how was he more important than Gamble. We're going to find out right here. I like how the wide receivers over there are in Chicago. And Caleb Williams, really, his fantasy year wasn't as bad as people are making it out to be. Was it great? No, but it wasn't absolutely dog terrible either. So I'm going with Ballin. I'm going to exaggerate the B's. I know I struggled hearing last week. Tonight, my sister said she wanted to read the Gingerbread book. And I thought she said the Fisherman book, so I spent about 5 minutes looking for a Fisherman book we don't have. My wife said it's gingerbread. Are you deaf? So, for all you lip readers out there,
is your sister or your daughter?
You said your sister.
Sorry, my daughter. My bad. Not reading books to my sister anymore.
Dude, how do you get those mixed up?
Because I was trying to remember what she said. My bad.
Dude, you doing all right?
Phil,
okay?
You have a wrist brace on right now. I don't want to hear it.
I don't.
Okay?
I don't.
You took it off.
Hey, say what you want. I'm not wearing it now.
Yeah. When we got on Jordan, he had a wrist brace on for his carpal tunnel.
Did you
trip? It's not for
on
carpal
the sidewalk
tunnel
when you were walking?
No. Too many pull-ups. All right, moving on here. All right. So Seth, is he falling or balling for you? DJ Moore.
I'm going to say I don't really know how much left Keenan Allen has in him. I think Caleb Williams is going to get better. I think the Bears are going to get better. So I'm going to go with balling, but I think he'll do better than 16, but I don't think he's going to break like top 8, if that makes sense. So I think he'll finish between 16 and 8 around there.
And Keenan Allen might not be back either.
That's what I was saying. I think that's the main reason. If Keenan Allen comes back, I think 16 or higher is better. But
okay, Jordo.
Ballin.
Okay, you want to go into it, or you just kind of agree with what Seth and Trent said?
No, I agree with them.
Cool. Okay. All right, this one I think is kind of feisty. Aaron Rodgers no longer at the Jets, and then we have Davante Adams. Where do we? He finished last year at 14. What are we thinking for Davante Adams? Jordan, I'm going with you first.
Falling. I mean, we got a wide receiver on the wrong side of his career. We don't know where he's going to be. If he goes like the Niners, which is rumors, the Chargers, Chargers, there's other guys there. You got Ladd, you got QJ. So I don't know. I don't really see it on the Niners. You have other guys there too. You got Pearsall. You're gonna have IU coming back off injury. Kittle's still there. So I don't know. I'm not really seeing it with Davante. I think he'll be fine, but I don't think he's. I mean, where'd he finish this year? Like 11 and 14 the last 2 years. I think he's kind of staying around there next year.
Yeah, half point. He was at 14. So yeah, he's right around there. So where do you think he ends up at the Chargers?
I've heard Chargers, Niners. I think he wants to come back to the West Coast. So
I think for sure Cali. West Coast. I think he's for sure a California team. I don't see him. Rams might be interesting. I don't know if they have what it takes. Is he free agent, Jordan? He's free agent, right? Or is he got to get traded?
I think he's got to get traded, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, a lot of weird stuff. I don't know what they have to get there. Chargers, I could see him finishing kind of around the same spot. I think he'll still be a teens guy, but I think where you're going to get Seth, you have ADP for Davante Adams right now in best ball right there. I think if you go to the top up there, you can see a wide receiver.
Yeah, I don't have that pulled up.
Oh, you don't have it pulled up? Okay. I think that I'm going to go with falling just because of where I'm at on the West Coast. I feel like the Raider fans are still a little, onto that. And then we have a lot of Fresno State fans in my area. I think his ADP will be higher than what I'm wanting him to be at. So I'm going to go with falling. I still think he finishes kind of teens, though. I just think it's falling from where you get him from, if that makes sense.
Okay. Seth, falling or balling?
Man, I don't know. I feel like it depends on the team he goes to. But was 14 this last year and 11 the year before. I'm gonna say this is where I hate it's like a 2-option thing because it's like I feel like he's gonna finish in the same spot and like would you call that balling still? Like top 15 receiver? Probably no. So I don't really want to say he's gonna fall or he's gonna ball. I feel like he's gonna be in the same spot because he's gonna go to a team. Flat. Yeah, I mean he's gonna go to a team and automatically get enough points to be a top 15 receiver, I think. But he's not going to be a guy you're going to want to draft as your first receiver. Like if you dropped him second, I think you're happy with that. But it's got to be with the right team, Like even with the Chargers, I wouldn't feel that comfortable about it. So maybe Seth, the Rams, I'd be happy. But
Seth, he right now is ADP is 50.7. He's wide receiver. Do you guys want to? So I guess I gave it away right there. 50.7, wide receiver 28, coming behind guys like DK Metcalf, Roma Donze, McMillan, out of Arizona, Rashee Rice, Zay Flowers, Jamison Williams, Devonta Smith, and Xavier Worthy. So maybe at that price tag, maybe you're happy where you're getting him. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's fine right now.
Yeah,
I think that's fine. Not having. Going as 28 behind guys who aren't a for sure team, I think it's worth the risk, at least in best ball, if you're doing it already. It's worth the risk of grabbing him.
Ranked ahead of ranked ahead of Jordan Addison and Jaylen Waddle. So Jerry Jeudy. So all right. So we got
all right. Do you want to move on here? Do you want to okay. All righty. Moving on here. So we have Chris Olave. I feel like Jordan always is like a Chris Olave guy, so I'm just going to go directly to him. I know I started with him last time, but I want to give him another opportunity just to kind of get the fans excited with his breakdown of Chris Olave. Where do you think this guy's ending here, Jordo?
This is a tough one. I I was super high on Olave last year, and then he got hurt. I don't know. I'm going to say Ballin, but I don't feel that it's not a confidence level, not high on this one. I just kind of got to hope he stays healthy. I think if he stays healthy, he'll be Derek Carr's number one in this new offense with Kellen Moore. So I'm going to go Ballin.
I hate myself.
And by Ballin, hold on.
Okay,
sorry, Ballin, where do you think he falls? I mean, that's to you, Trent. Where do you think he is?
Man, I am not a Chris Olave fan, but him going wide receiver 31, ADP 55, health has always been an issue. Kellen Moore is the new head coach over there. I feel like that ADP, it's worth taking him as, your wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. Like, he might drop quite a bit with how he's done. Saints wide receivers have done me absolutely dirty in the past. Like, I've been a part of the Olave, I've been a part of Michael Thomas. I don't see myself drafting Olave unless it's like, pretty late there. He's going after Jaylen Waddle, Devontae Adams, DK Metcalf. So I think you're going to go Ballin here with him just being number one, just if he stays healthy. As much as I hate it, I think that ADP is too nice for him right now, a guy of his caliber. So do we know, like, his brother was saying a lot of stuff. Michael Thomas was saying a lot of stuff. There's no, like, rumors of him potentially not playing, right? Like, as far as I'm concerned, he's still a Saint. He's going to play. I think the new coach helps, right?
So, yeah, I think so.
I have no idea. What are you talking about, Trent? I don't.
Didn't his brother put something on X about? I know Michael Thomas put something on X about how Derek Carr always leaves wide receivers out to dry, how it's unacceptable. And then I think Chris Olave's brother said something too, like something's got to give. So I think his brother hinted towards like retire, like he needs to retire type stuff. It was kind of a weird thing to say. I don't think he does retire, but there was some weird like rumblings right when he got hurt. Then we didn't see him after that either.
There's no way.
He's 24 years old.
But how many concussions has he had?
Yeah.
3?
Just 1, 2.
I think he's had 3.
No, he's had multiple. He's had like more than 2.
Yeah, like he might call
I
him.
think he's had one every year.
Yeah, guardian candidate.
So that's 2 years.
No, he's been in the league more than 2 years.
This will be his 4th year.
Yeah. Are you looking up the concussion thing, Jordan? His amount of concussions?
So he had one in Ohio State, I believe. Oh, he's had head injuries at least, since 2020, at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, at least 5 head injuries in the last. So, yeah, I guess I thought it was a little bit less than that, but it looks like he's had a couple. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
He gets the bell rung every year. He's going to miss like 3 games every year, at least.
And Michael Thomas blames it on Carr. So,
yeah, it's just I don't think he's got a good chin. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, maybe better mouthpiece, maybe better. Talking about guardian caps. Everyone's talking about guardian helmets. I think a lot of it has to do with guys not wearing mouthpieces either. Like a lot of guys don't wear mouthpieces anymore. I think.
Oh, you're right, Trent.
Are a big deal with concussions. Like I think they should make mouthpieces mandatory if you really care about player safety. But I don't think they'll do that. So, anyways.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you there.
Did Seth go or no?
No, but we kind of got. Or go ahead, Seth, if you want to. I feel like we kind of talked.
I guess I'm gonna say if he doesn't miss a game, I guess you can't really play fantasy football like that. But I would say he's gonna ball. I don't think he's gonna miss as many games as he missed this year, unless it's some significant injury. I wish I wasn't going to be proven wrong, but I mean, it's very possible, the guy gets, another concussion every year or 2 concussions a year and misses half the season, because of it. So, but I think Derek Carr is good enough to get him the ball and be a sufficient, quarterback to supply the number 1 receiver in an offense. I mean, we saw what they were doing at the beginning of this season, the Saints, how good they were for 2 or 3 games, whatever. But Devontae Adams was great with Carr in, at least for fantasy wise, at the Raiders. But we don't know if Olave can necessarily turn out into Devontae Adams, but at least there's that volume there that we'll see. So I think balling from this standpoint, you can only really go up from wide receiver 93, really.
True.
Yeah, very true. I don't know if, falling at 75 is necessarily balling, but you are accurate that 93 is probably going to be much worse than what he falls this year. All right, Jayden Reed. Seth, we're going to start with you. You have any thoughts on Jayden Reed, balling or falling?
Honestly, the Packers offense is so hard to understand sometimes because it seems like they have like 4 receivers that can be the guy sometimes. He did seem like he had the most consistency, but then when they had all 4 of their pieces, like all 4 of their receivers back, it seemed like he was going from like beginning of the season getting like an average of 65 plus yards a game to like at the end of the season where everyone was healthy and he was getting like 40. And it was just kind of random which receiver is going to get it. So I'm going to go falling here. I don't know if he can emerge as the true number 1 on that offense with everyone else, unless they, draw it up that he's the main guy there. But I don't really seeing that happen at the Packers. I think they're going to like this rotation of 4 receivers. So I'm going to go falling here. I don't think he has a better season than he did last year.
We haven't talked about this here, but Josh Jacobs said that they're lacking a number 1 receiver there, something like that on Radio Row. Everyone kind of made a big deal about it. I think they have to draft a wide receiver, on the Reddit threads and stuff like that. Everyone's saying they're going to trade or sign a wide receiver. That's just not the Green Bay way to go out there and sign a wide receiver. Like, I see Packers fans on X hoping that they sign, all these guys that are out there like T. Higgins. Like, the Packers don't make splashes on the free agency. Like, I don't know who the last wide receiver the Packers been out and signed. They never did it for Rodgers anyways. So in recent memory, I don't see them doing that, but I do see them maybe drafting a 3rd round, 2nd round wide receiver, maybe that they can get something going. And with that, I'm going to go. So he did have, what did he do here? Jayden Reed had 9 drop passes out of 75 targets this year. So that's a 12% drop rate. So placing him among league leaders in drop passes for the season. His teammate, Dontavian Wicks, also had 9 drops this season. So Packers led the NFL in drop passes. So you would think Jordan Love plays better this year. But I think with that being said, I think they go out and find another wide receiver in the draft, like I said. So I'm going to go falling here, but I think his ADP will be the right spot for what he is, if that makes sense. But not what he started out to be last year at the beginning of the season.
You're saying it'll be an improvement, but not balling. Jordan?
Yeah, he's not going to be the 1. Like people thought he was the 1 last year. So I think he's going to be a 2 option.
Cool.
I agree. I think it's falling. I think he'll be fine, but I think Josh Jacobs changed that offense quite a bit. And so I think I don't even know if I agree with Trent on the receiver, like where they draft to all that stuff. I don't know if that stuff matters. They're always going to have a lot of guys. They got like 4 guys now. They're all going to rotate through. And then I think Josh Jacobs, just because he's going to run the ball so much, that I think it just changes how much Jordan Love uses his receivers.
Okay. I would agree with you there on the Josh Jacobs side. All right, moving on to, I think this one's actually a good one. Jalen Waddle. What are we thinking here? I think that this one actually could bring up a decent amount of conversation, especially with some of the things that Tyreek Hill has said. So I'm going to go with Jordan. I'm going to go with you first. What do you think here?
I mean, he's been so bad the last couple of years. Wide receiver 34 a year ago, 46 this past year. Man, it's hard to say like falling, but I don't know if I really want to say balling either. I mean, I think he can't get worse than what he did this year. So I feel like the only way is up. But like, I have zero confidence in Tua. I have zero confidence that he's going to stay healthy, and then it's like Tyreek and I don't know. Jonnu Smith feels like he took a lot of the usage away from Waddle, but that offense was just a mess the entire year. So I just don't have any confidence in Jaylen Waddle and that Dolphins offense. So I don't want to say falling because I don't think you really get worse, but I guess balling just compared to what he did this year. But it's not someone that I would draft in the top 25 wide receivers. Somewhere in that 25 to 35 range is probably the spot for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seth? Go ahead.
He's wide receiver 30 right now, Jordan, is what he's going at right now. ADP is at 54.8. Last year, he was 19.6. So that's a 35, ADP adjustment right there for the negative. So
he's going ahead of or behind Devontae Adams?
He is. So Adams was 28. Waddle is 30. Olave is 31. Waddle is 30. I would rather have Chris Olave than Jaylen Waddle. Jaylen Waddle, yeah. Jaylen Waddle not only burned the bridge this year for guys who drafted him, he threw a stick of dynamite after it got burned down also. It was bad. So.
All right.
Yeah, stick so I'm going dynamite. Falling for me.
Fallin. And then falling. Seth?
I'll stay with falling here too. The ADP at 30 just doesn't make me like it at all. I'd rather have some other number ones or higher upside number twos with his injuries, and then the Dolphins offense just kind of honestly being a mess recently. And then Tua's health scares me too. I don't know. It just seems like a dumpster fire that I don't want to touch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Trent.
No, but looking at that, sorry, let me put this on here. So looking at that, last year he finished at wide receiver. Sorry, 2 years ago he was wide receiver 34. This past year he's wide receiver 46. So his ADP is kind of where he finished. It's probably not going to murder your team like it did last year. You got him at that ADP of 16. It was hard to come back from that. Him as your number 2 wide receiver or number 1 potentially at 16. He might have been the first guy you took off your board. So. Yeah, the ADP's there. I still don't know if I want to be there, though.
Okay. All right, moving on here. Let's go with, talking about his teammate, Tyreek Hill. Trent, take it from here, brother.
It has to go up. It has to be better. He played hurt. I'm going to go Ballin with Tyreek Hill. And, looking at his ADP right now, might take me a little bit to find this because I don't even know, he is wide receiver 12. Did he have
4 touchdowns this year?
Yeah, the TDs weren't there. He had more kids than touchdowns, remember?
That is something people have been saying online. But
wide receiver 12, 23 ADP. Last year his ADP was 3. So drop of 20.
What were we going to say, Seth?
Well, I was going to say I had more kids than I had caught touchdowns in the NFL too. But I think 12 is fine. I think 12 is a nice surprise. I think if you draft him at 12, you'd be happy with it because the upside is pretty high if Tua stays relatively healthy. And Jalen Waddle sucks, we think he might. It's going to be pretty nice to have him at that spot.
Hill's not going to go down like that. I think he has a couple years left in the tank.
Yeah. I don't think there's a drop off year this year because even though he was obviously disappointing for not really his fault, I think he still has some gas obviously left in the tank, and I think it's worth the risk, drafting in that late first, early second window.
And he just had a weird. It was just an overall really weird year. He got did he get arrested? What ended up happening? He did get arrested, right? He got handcuffed. Okay.
And he said he had a wrist injury before that, and him getting handcuffed aggravated the injury. So I don't.
Oh, I didn't even remember that. Yeah.
So I think he comes back. I think this ADP is really nice for Tyreek Hill.
Yep, I think so too. All right, Jordan. I know you're a huge Tyreek Hill guy. What do you think?
No, I agree. Balling.
Cool. All right, moving on here. Terry McLaurin. I'm going to go with you, Jordan. What are we thinking?
It's hard. I'm going to say Balling just because I think he kind of sustains what he did this year. I'm a big Jayden Daniels guy. I think Terry McLaurin is the biggest beneficiary of Jayden Daniels balling, so I'll go Balling.
Okay. Trent?
I'm going to go falling here. I feel like I'm one of the biggest Terry McLaurin fans on this pod. I've always liked Terry McLaurin.
You've been a fan.
I preached about him the whole year. He's turning 30, I believe, in August. So I think once you get to 30, it doesn't affect wide receivers quite as much. But I think he had 14 touchdown catches last year. I don't see him repeating that. And even if, I know it's hard that you don't want to talk about sophomore slump and stuff like that, but I think Commanders get another good wide receiver on the opposite side. I think that Terry McLaurin's still a top 12 wide receiver. I just don't see him finishing at wide receiver 6 like he did this past year. I don't think the touchdowns will be there. I think they're going to get another weapon for Jayden Daniels. So I think in his ADP, I just think it's probably a little too high.
What is his ADP? That's what I was.
So it's 14, which I thought it'd actually be higher than that. Last year it was 48. So he's still that ADP wide receiver 14. That's still pretty good. He's going after Tyreek Hill and T. Higgins. So
you're kind of I would say for his ADP, he's probably balling.
I think the ADP is still right, but I honestly, without looking at it, thought his ADP was a little higher. But I'm going to stay with falling. I'm just going to say that the TDs aren't there. Like, do we think he gets 14 TDs again? Or do we think we get 10? Or do you think it's closer to like 7? Like, do we know how much TDs he had last year? I'll look it up right now.
I'm seeing him 25. Did you say I'm seeing him 25 on Sleeper? Am I looking at that wrong?
Sorry. He had 13 receiving touchdowns, career high this year. So
what are you seeing him as, Jordan, on Sleeper?
No, I don't even know. I'm not looking. I just know your 25 is wrong.
Yeah, no, he's wide receiver 12 right now. Last year he was 23.
Oh, I have 2025 clicked just for what it's worth. I have 2025 click. I have average draft position. They
don't have rookies on Sleeper yet. That's the problem.
Okay.
But
well, that would make it worse, though.
You're right.
I'm going to go
look at it, Jordan.
Here. I don't think he catches 13 touchdowns again. I think his yardage might increase a little bit. I think the Commanders are going to throw the ball a little bit more. And I know they're going to let Daniels have these designed runs and have him run some touchdowns in. But I don't know if they're going to want to like overdo it too much per se. Just because Daniels does have a slight, he can get injured. I think he's going to get more yards though, less touchdowns, if that makes sense. So I think it's going to fall slightly. I still think he can finish top 10. I don't think it's going to be as high as 6 though.
Yeah. For whatever reason, this guy's ADP just stays like in a really nice spot. Like it never shoots up. But maybe this year I'll say this, casuals aren't drafting right now. Casuals aren't doing best ball. I think there's a really good, the people doing best ball drafts right now, I think really know what they're doing. Like the freaks are out there doing best ball right now. The nerds, the gurus are doing best ball drafts right now. So like him going at 14, I think that's good value for him. Like if you were to get like AJ Brown, then Terry McLaurin as your number 2 in a draft, I think that's really nice. Even though I put him at balling, but I think that's a solid, like as good of a number 2 as you're going to get.
Someone please look at Sleeper. I want to be verified.
Phil,
that is
I put the link in there for ADP in the show notes. I don't know if you know how to get to the show notes and the sheets, but that's the one you should be using.
No,
Sleeper.
I'm looking. No, why not look at Sleeper? What's your beef with Sleeper?
I like Sleeper, but we did that mock draft last year at this time. And remember how all over the place it was?
It's one of our partners.
He's asking about for the. You're just asking about for the stats, right?
No, I was asking like on Sleeper, his ADP, unless I'm looking at it wrong, has him at 25.
Wide receiver
4
25?
wide receivers. Yes.
It's possible. I think more people draft, do mock drafts on Sleeper than putting money in on Underdog where they pay money to do the drafts. So he might be,
I mean, you could. I'm simply reporting on an app that I use regularly that I think a lot of people use.
I'm on Sleeper right now. He's 25. Can we move on?
All right. You know what?
I'm sorry, Phil. That was me.
Adam Thielen. Trent, go ahead.
I'm such a jerk. I'm sorry, Phil.
No, you're not a jerk. You're just illogical. You know what? Just go, Trent. Just go.
Adam Thielen. As much as I liked him this past year, he did finish wide receiver 51. When he played though, he did play pretty good. I'm gonna go Fallin. I'm not gonna have any Adam Thielen here, and I'm really high on Bryce Young this season. I really like him, but I'm not getting on the Adam Thielen train. He'll probably prove me wrong, but I just don't see him staying healthy. So I'm gonna go Fallin, and I'm guessing that's what everyone else will do.
Yeah, Falling.
Seth, free falling.
Yeah.
All righty, moving on here. Let's step on over to our tight ends. I feel like this one is interesting. Sam LaPorta. I know people hate the way that we see it. Sam LaPorta, what are we thinking here?
He's been so all over the place. I'm going to go Fallin just because I'm not going to be drafting him. I think this is a Jameson Williams. I think this is a Monroe St. Brown. Where you drafted Sam LaPorta last year. Last year his ADP was 39. Right now it's at 62. I think that's pretty good where you're getting him. He's tight end 4 behind Kittle, McBride, and Bowers. I'm still going Fallin, kind of saying like I'm not drafting him. It's kind of where I'm leaning on that. I'm going Fallin as a guy. I'm not in on him. Anyone all in on LaPorta? We all thought last year was the year of the tight end. It never happened. It was was it worse than 2 years ago last year for tight ends?
It was rough. Kelsey really hurt people. Hawkinson was a hurt, I think, right? Deep into the season. Kittle was okay.
Yeah. Hawkinson just didn't play till the middle of the season.
Kittle was probably the best value.
When Kyle Pitts when people are stoked on Kyle Pitts' performance, that's how you know that the tight ends did not have a good year. Go ahead. Jordan, what do you think about LaPorta?
I mean, he's fine. I don't really know like what to say about him. Like, I guess I'll say falling, but like, I don't know. Why does tight end 4? It seems a little too high ADP wise. Yeah. So
wide receiver 1 2 years ago, 7 this last year. So
yeah, but like 7 is not horrible. So I don't know.
Yeah, but Mark Andrews was 5. Jordan.
No, I know tight end was bad.
Terrible. Yeah. So,
all right, let's Seth.
Like I don't even know why we have 7 tight ends on this list. If tight end is so bad,
I just kept finding guys in there. Just kept throwing them in there.
Like I could say falling for every single one on this list.
Come on, you're not going to do that.
I'm not drafting a tight end until the end. That's what I'm doing.
No, Evan Ingram is balling, but like I don't like just because he was so bad last year. Like you can't get any worse. So the only thing is up.
Yeah. Well, we can go through these ones faster if you guys would like.
Yeah, let's just go. Let's just rapid fire.
ADP on Sleeper. It's the same as 2024 as 2025. Clearly, Phil didn't look at either filter. It's the same.
Yeah. You know what? Hey, Seth, here's the thing. I appreciate that you looked. Thank you so much. I wanted to know where I was going wrong.
I clicked 25 and I clicked 24 and I scrolled as the same list.
Same list, yeah. See, I think that's a problem with technology, right? They don't update their on their. I think it's their fault. Sleeper probably should be updating on their side. Let's just go through this list.
And great time to remind you. Great reminder to remind you, head over to Underdog Fantasy, guys. Enter promo code DUDES, match up to $1,000. You can start doing best ball drafts right now. Okay, so head over to Underdog, promo code DUDES, best ball drafts. They had some Four Nations action on there the other night. NBA, MLB be starting up soon. Head over to Underdog Fantasy, guys.
Yeah, had a good time watching the game. Was bummed that these 2 Yahoos did not make it, Jordan and Seth. Very disappointed in both of them.
You know,
do you have an excuse, Jordan? Do you have an excuse?
Yeah, Jordan, you told me you were
depressed on my
couch. You ghosted me.
Oh, you left us on
my couch.
Yeah,
I didn't even watch the game.
And whipped cream.
Seth's brother showed up, so like
yeah.
Dude.
I mean, that was better than Seth's.
I was the only one home. I couldn't leave.
Yeah, maybe this is just a really bad analogy, but I'm not going to go into a biblical analogy because that wouldn't be appropriate right now. But yeah, when there's like people you want to hang out, then the people you don't really want to hang out come hang out. That's kind of what happened, and I think everybody who went to the party would agree. Like, feels like local business in the area. Like the guy's just like Phil's just hounding him for a hat. It was so embarrassing. Like, don't even know what to say. Phil was like, "Hey, I'll pay you all the money in my wallet to give you a hat." It was probably like $7. I told the guy I will pay you not to give Phil a hat. So just long story short, it was a good time. It's fun. Yeah, vibes were high. The brats were good. The game was very sad though. You know, had a little overtime
the vibes were high
thriller.
until the end.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
So
just a bummer.
Yeah.
All
Hockey
right,
night was good.
Let's fly through these tight ends. Dalton Schultz.
Fall.
Yeah, fall.
I'm going
Trent,
ball. I'm going with ball. I'm team Dalton Schultz always. Stephon Diggs might not be there. Maybe CJ Stroud's okay. I think the ADP of Dalton Schultz is always intriguing.
Tank Dell even like is that guy?
Tank Dell is probably in a wheelchair by the kickoff of week 1. So who is CJ Stroud going to throw to? Nico Collins, and there's got to be someone else. So less mouths to feed this year.
I absolutely love that you guys have this, that you have this one on here, Trent. Kyle Pitts finished 14 2 years ago, or 14 2 years ago and 15 last year. Fall or ball here, Jordan? I want to hear. I want to know what you think about
fall. This is like fall.
Even with Michael Penix at the helm, you think it's
fall? It's a fall.
All right.
Fall. If you have Seth, Kyle Pitts in Dynasty, just do whatever you can to sell him right now. Like resurface that photo of him in a life jacket.
Literally, just drop him. Just drop him.
Yeah.
That's not a kind thing to say, Jordan, just for what it's worth.
You know, the guy. What if he heard?
What if he heard that? What if he listened to the pod and heard you say that?
I hope he does listen to the pod. I hope it fires him up, lights a fire underneath his tail, and gets him going. He is tight end.
Well, you would have him on your
right
roster because you're selling him right now. You're selling high.
Yeah. Wide receivers getting drafted ahead.
High.
Yeah. Wide receivers getting drafted ahead of Kyle Pitts. We got Jake Ferguson, Colston Loveland, who is not on a team yet, Evan Ingram, Isaiah Likely, Dalton Kincaid, and Dallas Goedert. So there you go.
That's a rough
Tyler Warren, tight end 8, rookie not on a team yet.
All right, Hawkinson.
Balling, hardly played last year. Not sure who the quarterback is in Minnesota, but I'm going with the Hawk call, baby.
Hawks. All right.
I'll say,
you'll say ball.
For what? Yeah, I'll say ball. But for what it's worth, Tank Dell is probably not playing 2025 season.
So I was pretty close.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Moving on here. Jordan Hawkinson.
Ball, I guess. I don't.
All right.
know, like,
he said he was going to say fall everyone. He said he was going to fall everyone. That's some growth, some maturity.
Have some backbone, Jordan.
Mark Andrews, next one. Fall.
Mark fall.
The guy's like can barely move. He can barely
tight in falling.
Like he literally falls on the ground. He catches the ball and falls on the ground, literally falling.
It's Isaiah Likely season, I think, guys. I think it's his time. They're acting like they're going to pay him, though.
0 chance.
So Likely's tight end 14 right now, and Andrews is tight end 6.
Yeah, it's Likely season. I know you're a huge Ravens fan, Seth. What are you thinking here? You went to a Ravens game, I think, last year.
He went to Ravens Gate.
I'm going to say Isaiah Likely ball.
What does that even mean, Trent?
I think it used to be like a.
Remember Phil got invited to that game and just for some reason didn't come?
Yes.
I know. 3 of us on this pod went to the game and you didn't.
Phil, so.
I didn't get invited.
That's a lie.
You did. Don't lie.
All right.
I'll pull up the group message right now.
You refused to ride on the party bus. That's why.
Yeah. Jordan also told us, I don't know what's worse, Phil not coming and saying he didn't get invited, or Jordan saying he's going to come and then just not showing up.
I didn't say I was going to come. I said I might come.
And then he did show up? Are you talking about on Thursday? Yeah. That's messed up, Jordan. You left a bunch of friends on red.
You know what? I was pretty sad. You know, I was not in a good place mentally.
Well, we could have we could have hung out. We had some nice soda. We had Pepsi.
Yeah. What if you bet money and won money though?
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
it was a rough time, rough go.
And a degenerate can't even place a bet. He's so sad.
All right, Trent. What are we thinking here? We already talked about. We
don't need to go Travis Kelce, do we? Like, we don't even know what his deal is right now. I don't think like one of the weirdest tight end finishes ever. I think he was like tight end 6, and everyone was mad about it the whole entire year. Just, we thought tight ends were back. They weren't back. It was maybe just as bad. I have Huddle here, something we could talk about. I don't think there's anything we really wanted to recap. I was just going to talk about hockey night. Phil, was the food okay? Was my cream cheese spread good enough with the wheat thins?
I did not end up eating. I only had a soda.
Yeah, and then there's that. There's everybody who didn't come. Then there's Phil, who comes like an hour late.
And he actually only drink half of it.
Yeah, dumps a half a soda out and then like complains about the food but doesn't try it. So Phil, I had brats, okay, cheddar-filled brats, which, it's kind of the go-to. I still have brats, from the Super Bowl party, trying to get rid of them. Got a couple buns, 2 bags of buns left. But Phil's like, hey, had soup at home. Like, Phil, you knew you were coming to hockey night and you came with a full stomach. Like,
oh, dude, I had the best soup, though. It's the Zuppa, the Zuppa Toscana soup.
Please stop talking about things that people don't know what they are, okay? Like, I
Come
believe
on,
it was good.
People know what that soup is.
I believe it was good. No, we don't. So
I'll just run you guys through it. I will say, I put this on Twitter. I'm not sure if you guys... I don't think Seth is on Twitter any longer, and Jordan, I think you hop on there periodically.
Seth
I was
got
at Bravo
Farms.
Farms.
We're not allowed to talk about.
I was at Bravo Farms, which is like a place that has it's a restaurant. They have like good cheeses, things like that. I saw a guy, no joke, made me absolutely sick, with ketchup all over his quesadilla, and I had to do a double take to make sure it wasn't Trent. Like, I knew it wasn't, but I only know a handful of people who...
Trent's relatives? Was it one of Trent's relatives?
It was not, but it made me absolutely sick. Ketchup on a quesadilla. That is it's sickening.
So here's the deal. It's not my first.
It's basically like a soggy chip. Like that is what a tortilla is. It's literally like a soggy chip. And you put ketchup
it's soggy
on it.
Cheese. Yeah, it's nasty.
It's just,
No, Phil, if you haven't tried it, be like quiet, wrong. Okay? First of all, just be quiet if it's nasty. It's nasty, really? What is it, mold? No, nasty is the wrong word. Something you don't really like? Okay, maybe it's the right thing. Nasty, putting ketchup on there? That is ridiculous. It's not that far off.
Nasty. Pull the ketchup packet out of your pocket and shows you have one on hand right now.
I don't have one on hand.
That is such a lie.
No. I know let's put this. I have a fridge behind me that has ketchup in it, but I don't keep one in my pocket. I'm not a freak, Seth. I'm not like you who keeps like Pokeballs and Chinese handcuffs in my pocket.
On tamales. Let's just let that sink in.
Okay. So here's the deal.
Yeah, you did put ketchup on tamales. That's pretty disgusting.
No. So here's the deal. Have I had ketchup on a quesadilla? Yes. Is it my first round draft pick? No. If there's no salsa, I'm going to resort to ketchup and sour cream. I have sour cream or I have salsa. If I don't have the salsa, I will put ketchup on there and I will use both of those. Also, sleeper pick, spicy jelly is also very good on a quesadilla. No one likes the spicy jelly?
That's different. That's
how much different is it?
It's closer to salsa. Ketchup is like...
Whoa. God, what are the ingredients in salsa?
A little bit of... ketchup is like tomato concentrate, which is not even tomatoes.
But is there tomatoes in salsa?
Yeah, they're like fresh.
Depends what salsa you
Trent, it's extremely sugary.
No one gets... No, like, we don't need to get, like, salsa for your quesadilla. Just get hot sauce.
Yeah, it's not, but the other thing
Phil does not do that, Jordan. Phil's just doing this for agreement.
Yes, I do.
Phil does not do that. No, he's a total liar. He does not do that.
No, I use the Chipotle Tabasco hot sauce with my quesadillas.
There you go.
That's completely normal.
That's a lie. Phil does not. Phil is not a hot sauce guy. Let's just get that.
Where do you get quesadillas from? Like, where do you get quesadillas from? Like, if you go to the taco truck, you get quesadilla. There's gonna be hot sauce right there.
Here's the thing, Jordan. When you have little kids,
ask Phil the last time he went to a taco truck. Jordan, And that's probably 6 years. He doesn't go. So let's not act like he's a hot sauce guy. His argument here is totally illogical. Don't even listen to what he's saying.
So
he's not a hot sauce guy. He doesn't go to a taco truck. He doesn't know Mexican food.
No, that's not true. Trent, what kind of cheese do you put? What type of cheese do you put? What type of cheese? So first off, Trent throws his quesadillas in the microwave. Rule number 1 broken.
Another lie from Phil. You can tell Phil's lying because his lips are.
Yes, he does, Seth. Yes,
that's
he does.
A lie.
And that's then number 2, he uses cheddar. He uses cheddar mozzarella blend. Guaranteed, he uses that stuff. He doesn't use the queso that you get for quesadillas. The guy doesn't. So you know what? Actually, if you want to mask the terrible quesadilla that you just made in ketchup, feel free. I'm totally okay with that because a microwave quesadilla is not something that I would ever enjoy. So you enjoy those. Keep dipping them in ketchup, and I'll do my thing, Tabasco sauce.
Yeah. Phil, I have never microwaved a quesadilla. Maybe when I was 7, I did that. Okay, so that's just dumb. I made a quesadilla while Phil was actually doing it. I put it on X. Give me a follow at TFF Dudes. Okay, I have used multiple different kinds of cheese. Okay, usually cheddar. It's whatever is. It's whatever has been shredded in my fridge. Okay, dude, have I ever done mozzarella? No, I don't use mozzarella.
You got to use the.
You've lost all
if
credibility.
You're gonna use cheddar, it's got to be like the triple blend. That's what it's got to be. It's got to be the Mexican triple
I
blend.
use orange cheese, Seth. It's in my fridge.
Hey, man.
I use the mix.
Hey, next time you're tempted to use Kraft singles on your quesadilla,
I do not use Kraft singles. You are so Phil, do not use Phil's dumb argument of like judging food when he's never even been to a taco truck. He didn't even know what that was because they didn't have them in LA.
I'd gladly serve you and drive to the store and get you some cheese.
When was the last? I used Tortilla Land tortillas.
To be better.
Tortilla Land tortillas from Costco. They're the best tortillas. Has everyone had those?
Okay.
Have you had them?
I've not. No.
They're very good. They're raw.
Are those the almond flour ones? The almond flour ones you like?
Stupid. No. So Phil, you have to put these on the stove to cook them.
Yeah, I know what they are.
Okay.
I know what they are.
So yeah, it makes a lot of sense for a guy to cook his tortillas on the stove.
Them in butter, you just throw them on there raw.
Do I put them on there raw?
Mm-hmm.
No, I cook them.
Yeah, but I'm saying, do you just put them on the thing raw, or do you put some butter down, and soak them a little bit?
I just straight throw them on raw.
Oh, so you just burn the tortilla?
No, I don't burn the tortilla. Go look at my picture on X.
Seth, the guy, he might as well be microwaving.
That's like.
Hey Seth, you want to come over? I'll give you one. Okay.
When you toast a bun, you want to put a little bit of butter on it, so soaks it up and gets a nice toast on there. When you just put a raw bun down, it just burns the bun.
Have you done what I've done with the tortillas?
I mean, I know how to cook a tortilla. You're supposed to put something down.
This is a waste of conversation.
All I'm saying is,
you ever see a taco truck when they cook their tortillas, they don't just throw them on there raw. There's got to be a little bit of oil on there.
Seth, I don't burn tortillas. I don't burn stuff when I cook them. You should know that. Okay.
This is a sensitive spot in Trent's life.
This is like a waste.
You're listening to a guy that has carpal tunnle and he takes his brace off for the pod. It's like, hey, you're using a keyboard. You should leave that puppy on.
Can we get back to what matters?
We're done with football stuff, Jordan.
No. Trent, putting ketchup on your quesadilla, that's nasty. Now let's move on.
It is true.
Okay, is it my first option? No, it's in dire need when you need something else.
It should never be an option.
Wait,
Trent, just eat the quesadilla plain. Like if
the dire need is just eat the quesadilla by itself.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
You gotta have something. Yeah. You have to have something.
You're telling me you have to wash it down.
Yes, you actually do.
No, you don't.
What, Seth?
You have to wash things down with the sauce every time you put something in.
I like to have sauce on my Mexican food, yes.
Mexican food literally is almost sauce.
Ketchup's not a sauce. Like that is not like.
Do you know what salsa means in Spanish? It means sauce, just so you guys know. You guys thinking pico de gallo?
The other thing about this guy is he says that I can't do spice, yet ketchup is his
but ketchup is not
Mexican food.
Ketchup is not salsa.
Even that's a little bit too spicy.
Ketchup's not salsa. So
what is it? Is it sauce?
What you mean by that?
Is it sauce?
I don't know. I think if you went to Mexico,
no, it's a condiment that goes on your cheeseburger.
Would you call that a sauce, though?
It goes with fries. No, it's a condiment.
I think they're kind of the same thing.
Sauce Is mayonnaise a sauce? Is mustard a sauce?
I would throw them in the sauce family.
I'm gonna ask.
I might log on.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem.
Here's the problem. Dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Salsa is a spicy tomato sauce. So I mean,
oh my gosh,
Trent.
Okay, everything on Google is saying it's a condiment, not a sauce.
Okay.
Yeah. Why don't you Google other things?
Is relish a sauce? Is relish a sauce too, Trent?
I would put condiment and sauce in the same vein almost. Yes. So is salsa a sauce? You're saying salsa is not a sauce? Because salsa can have, vegetables in it. Like
no, you tried to explain to me how salsa and ketchup are the same thing. And I'm saying, you said, what does salsa mean in Spanish? Sauce. Ketchup's not sauce.
I would throw it as a sauce. I think some people would call it a sauce. Some people wouldn't call it a sauce. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you guys lose sleep over this.
Let me just give you some Google knowledge. While both
no
ketchup
one
and
loses
salsa
sleep over
contain
this.
tomatoes as a primary ingredient, they are not considered close due to significant differences in flavor profile, as ketchup is typically sweeter and tangier and added sugars, while salsa often incorporates fresh vegetables, herbs, spices, resulting in a more sometimes spicy taste.
What about spicy ketchup, Phil?
We're not going down. Hey, buddy, let's just segue into the next segment. I feel like it's 3-1.
He's going to die, and his headstone's going to say ketchup is a sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah, yours is going to say I died because I was stupid.
Everyone's just going to throw sauce on it.
Lay me down in a bed of ketchup.
Pour one more out. Pour one more out for me.
I think one thing that we'll ask is like, do you prefer the glass bottle ketchup or you plastics?
I don't like packets, okay? So squeezable is always better because it's more efficient, faster. So I would prefer squeeze.
One of your relatives and an adjacent friend of mine, I've seen him rip open a packet and squirt ketchup into his mouth and then take a bite of food, and that ultimately made me want to projectile
that is only
like
I agree that's gross, but if you're driving and you really need the ketchup, that's kind of your only go-to with fries, I think.
Okay.
You don't ever really need the ketchup that much for what it's worth.
Do you ever we all have our things we like, Jordan. Okay. We all have our guilty pleasures. Okay. So it's just, we all have foods that we like, I'm sorry.
Not even food. Like
Phil likes sardines. You like whipping cream, and Seth likes, I don't know what Seth likes, probably Four Locos, but are we going to judge him? No. So let's just move on. Here's the other thing we got here.
It's more normal than ketchup on Mexican food.
It's
cool,
true.
Man. Cool. So guys, here we go. Here's the next thing I wanted to say. We got the Steve Smith stuff, and then we got, Harbaugh coming out and comparing Ladd McConkey to Steve Smith. We don't need to go into what happened with Steve Smith, but is this the absolute worst timing ever for Harbaugh to give a player comp to Steve Smith? Like Steve Smith is trending on X.
Trent. That was from the beginning of the year.
Okay, and someone just retweeted it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, my bad.
Maybe you had the Four Locos tonight.
Yeah.
Don't knock it till you try it. More like Red Bull, though.
Flavor.
Yeah.
He's just doing ketchup shots pre-pod.
He actually made a soup with it, and he put broths in there, and he's like, guys, I had a tomato Four Loko soup.
Clamato juice.
Hilarious, Seth. Hilarious.
Look at his face.
All right, let's move on to this.
I have put ketchup in a lot of soups, so usually like chili, Wendy's chili needs ketchup.
Oh, I would be okay with that.
Oh, really? Well, here's an idea. Pull the log out of your own eye, you hypocrite. All right, let's keep moving on. Here's the next thing I got. Phil, who just lies, says stuff all the time, says I make quesadillas in the microwave. Just a ton of lies have been, my name has been dragged through the mud tonight. Nothing new, nothing I can't come past. Minor setback for a major comeback. So Jayden Daniels, guys, right now, his ADP, it's getting up there. So I just said, where would you draft Jayden Daniels? And would you draft him over any of these QBs? So when I made this, put this out on X, he was actually getting drafted after Jalen Hurts. Right now, he's getting drafted before Jalen Hurts on Underdog right now. So the 4 QBs, would you draft Jayden Daniels over any of these guys? I got Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts. Where do you guys stand on that? Are you willing to take Jayden Daniels over any of them?
Lamar, Josh Allen, Hurts, and Burrow. Over both Hurts and Burrow.
So you take him over Burrow, even with the record year.
I think he's QB3, Trent.
Okay. Would you take him at QB3, Jordan, in a draft?
I probably won't draft a quarterback that high, but
okay.
I think that's where I'll have him ranked. 3 or 4. He's for sure over Hurts.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it's showing right now. The thing you have to realize with Hurts, though, he had 13 or 14 rushing touchdowns this year. That's hard to beat right there. I think Daniels had 8 rushing touchdowns. So maybe he gets back. That rushing floor keeps him good. It's a cheat code. Seth?
I think I agree with Jordan here. I think he's QB3.
All right. I don't think I'm going to put him up that high. I think I'm going to keep him at 5 or 6. Bad reasoning probably, but the sophomore slump. I think I'm going to just buy into it. I'm going to go with it, even with the rushing upside. We got a year of film, and I got just some recent QBs. Who was the last sophomore QB? And Jayden Daniels is good. He's different probably. But just who was the last good sophomore QB that had a good season? Brock Purdy comes to mind. I don't know if there's another one you can really think of, with second-year guy that you're like, man, he had a really, lightning in a bottle second year. Maybe Cam Newton. I was trying to think of good sophomore QBs that bounce back. Because a year ago, we were kind of, CJ Stroud was all the hype. He was QB5, I think, going into this past draft season, and that did not end well. So just some sophomore QBs. I got Vince Young after winning Rookie of the Year. Second, got put on the cover of Madden, did not do good. Sam Bradford, Rookie of the Year in 2010, regressed quite a bit, struggling with accuracy and health. Robert Griffin, Jameis Winston, Justin Herbert was not as good as second year, and then most recently CJ Stroud. So I'm going historically. Maybe that's wrong, but I'm putting him as probably QB6 is kind of where I have him right here. I don't know if I think the ADP is going to get too rich. Do you think he goes to 3, Jordan? You had him at 4, right? Or did you have him at 3?
No, I think I have him at 3. I got to look at it. But
I'm with you, though, Jordan. I don't like drafting QBs in that spot right there. I think Allen and Lamar, I think, are your locks for the top right there. I know you kind of have Mahomes with a little bit of a revenge tour here. And it might be a perfect spot for Mahomes if Jayden Daniels creeps up right there. If you can get Patrick Mahomes after Jayden Daniels and you think he's to be as good as he is, it's a slam dunk, I think.
Yeah.
Because looking at quarterbacks, and this ADP has been updated to today, looking at QBs, Mahomes is QB6. And maybe Bo Nix is the guy that takes that sophomore slump. He's 3 right now, ahead of Hurts, Burrow, Mahomes, Nix, Mayfield. So those guys in order. But I think that kind of does it, guys. No pod next week unless, something crazy happens to do a little surprise. I got a little trip I'm going on, and Seth does as well. But maybe me and Seth can send you a pod from Peter Pan or something. He'll probably try to go on that with me. But anyways, I don't know what to go. Anything else you want to say here, Phil? We got the Combine coming up. Maybe something, Shador's not going to be doing the Combine. He's not participating in any of the drills, I think. He's going for the meetings. So we got February 18th. Teams can begin franchising and transition players. February 24th through the 3rd. Man, That's today. So NFL scouting combines coming up. Deadline for teams to designate franchise tag March 4th, but getting pretty close to the draft here. So take a week off and then, well, remember, don't be rude. Share the dudes really helps us out. We will see you next time.
Total side note.
It's going to be a couple weeks. It's going to be 2 weeks, Phil. There's nothing you want to say. What's your side note?
No. I was wondering, so would Shedeur be the first Jackson State player ever to be a first round draft pick?
Didn't it? Well, when you say draft pick or first round draft pick?
First round draft pick. They've definitely had draft picks.
Yeah, I thought Jerry Rice went there. Where did Jerry Rice go? Where was Jerry Rice's college? Sorry.
Jerry Rice went somewhere else, I think.
Yeah.
I want to see here now. Jerry Rice, Mississippi. He went to Mississippi Valley, Trent. Come on, you're better than that. You knew that.
NFL players out of Jackson State.
I don't think they've had a Jackson State round 1 draft picks. I don't think they've had one.
I got one maybe for you, Phil. Maybe not.
Okay, hit me.
Walter Payton, but I don't know when he got drafted.
Okay, let's see. What round did
Walter... 4th overall, first round, 1975.
Okay. All right. I was wrong. Hey, I'll raise my hand there.
Everyone over the age of 40 is probably punching air when you said that, but no worries. It's okay. That was before our time.
Yeah, this is before our time.
Yeah, 1975 is probably, I used to think 40, but then it's like, when were you born to be for 1975? That's probably, it's probably 50, not 40, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We're pretty close to 40. I still feel like 40 is old, but I'm only 6 years away. So, anyways.
Yeah. All right. That's it.
Yeah.
Side note there.
Oh, we got our Mount Rushmore, Phil. You want to do this?
Oh, yeah. So subtle put downs. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, subtle put downs. So subtle put down could be something that's a put down, but that's not really a put down. Like something you maybe say to someone on the phone. You know what I'm saying? And I can go first, unless you have something, Phil.
No, I think no. You go first, and I'll build on that.
So, I think for number 1, I think I gotta go. Buddy is my number 1. Okay, so Buddy is my number 1 put down. I don't know if it's a put down, but it's like definitely not something you want to be called. Like I call you Buddy a lot on this pod, Phil. How do you feel?
It doesn't bother me because I know it's coming from, there's not much you could say that would put me down or put me in a bad spot, but so it doesn't bother me.
Okay. I'm going with Buddy and I'm going with Big Guy as I'm going to go Buddy, Bubba, and Big Guy are my 3.
Okay.
So I'm going Buddy,
Bubba, Big Guy.
No one really wants to be called Bubba.
Yeah.
So I'm going Buddy, Bubba, Big Guy, and I'm going to go, man, I got to get one more right here. What are you thinking, Seth? Seth, what are you thinking? Just give me yours right now, Seth.
All right. This one's good. The first one, Champ. That's a good one.
Champ's good.
Usually you're calling someone champ, they're not a champ. Like that's a good one.
I'm gonna go Chief. So I got Bubba, yes. Buddy, Bubba, Big Guy, and Chief.
Yeah, I have a lot of people say Chief though. Like that's. I feel like sometimes when people call you Chief, it's like they don't know you, but they're like being cool with you. I don't know.
Yeah,
Big Dog.
What about Boss? Does anyone really like it when it's like, yes. All right, Boss?
No one likes that. Hey, Boss, how's it going? It's like, what are you? And it's usually like someone you have no idea who they are. Boss, what's going on, man? It's like, don't
it's like a compliment, but you're like, this really isn't a compliment right now.
Yeah.
Big Nuts. That's one.
I will.
I know you've never been called that, Seth, but
I'll periodically be like, hey, what's up, Diesel? That's
terrible. Yeah, I hate it when you say Diesel. And the fact that you don't pronounce Diesel right, Phil. There's no Z in there.
Oh yeah, no. I'm like, hey, what's up, Diesel? I'll hit people with that every once in a while. They're just like, what? I love a good man. Actually, this is one that I hate. I hate when people overuse it. Like when you're like, oh man, bless that guy's heart. And so you see someone give their absolute best, and it's like the other put down that Seth does not remember. I was asking about someone, maybe, I don't know, we can cut this out if needed, Seth, but I was asking about one of his players, and I'm like, oh yeah, is that guy doing pretty good? And he's like, you know what? He's got a big heart for the game.
That's fine. You can leave it.
It feels like I pray that no coach ever said that about me.
That was so good
about him.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, he's got a big heart for the game, and I'm like, oof, that means he's not doing so hot.
So Phil, you said Diesel. You said
Diesel. I definitely think Boss is in there.
Okay.
Diesel. I would say
Boss.
I would say Buddy.
Okay.
Hey, Buddy. And then I would say the best one is Hey Sport. Sport is the king of all of those.
Anyone over the age of 6 does not want to be called Sport. Like maybe at 6 you're like, this is cool. Then it's like, no, this is not cool.
Yeah, no. If unless you're like, no, absolutely not. I know Trent wanted to get Sport tattooed over his right shoulder, but we convinced him out of it. All right, Jordan, you're
because
up.
I have a huge Viking axe there.
Yeah, right.
I don't even know. Like, I'll just kind of repeat. Like, I think.
Just think of all the names that Seth was called when he was little.
No, Bud's definitely the worst. Like Buddy, Bud, whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh man.
And we all know that one guy that calls you buddy every time he sees you. Or probably someone for work. Every time you call him like, hey, buddy, how's it going?
No, how about this? I had a guy come over to my house, and he was like talking with me, and he just kept saying, like, making vague things. And I'm like, hey, dude, like, it's totally cool, but do you know my name? And he was like, I am so sorry. I have no idea what you're And I was like, dude, that's totally fine, but you could just ask me, like, hey, like, you're here at my house, like, you could like say, hey man, I totally forgot your name. Totally fine, but like, just own up to it. Like, man, I have done that so many times. It's been like, I should know this person's name by now. I've talked to him 4 times in the last 4 weeks. I should know it. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do the right thing and be like, hey man, what is your name again? I am so sorry. I just think that's something you have to do, right? You don't just be like, I don't know. You can't just continue on like that. You fake it, Seth?
I think you fake it, but I think you fake it.
Dude, especially if it's someone I don't remember very well, I'll be like, hey man, I honestly don't remember. But if it's been weeks and I still don't remember, I'm like, hey, what's up, bud?
Yeah.
No, it's such an odd, I think you just have to be a man and be like, hey man, I'm so sorry. What is your name again? I think it builds a better friendship.
That hasn't really happened to me like one-on-one. Like usually, like I will just not call them buddy. I will not call them dude. I just will not refer to their name until someone comes into the room and I'm like, what is their name? I'm usually pretty good at remembering people's names, but I feel like that's something where it's like I will find someone that knows that name, but I'm not going to. I probably should just be like, hey, I don't remember your name. Like if I don't remember your name, I'm going to tell you like the first like 5 seconds of me seeing you. I'm not going to tell you.
Well, here's the problem with me is that sometimes I'll just throw a shot in the dark. I'll be like, I think it's around this, and I'll just be like, hey, what's up, James? They're like, it's Ryan. It's like, dude, I am so sorry.
Yeah. Phil or Jordan, what were yours?
There's a guy who lives on my street. There's a guy who lives on my street who definitely does not remember my name, but his name is Trent. It's not the Trent on this pod. So every time I see him, I'm like, hey, what's up, Trent? And just because I know this Trent and he does not know my name, he's like, hey man, how's it going? Literally every single time. So good.
Seth, what are yours, Seth? I know you have some playing baseball.
Hey, Champ. That's one.
That's cool.
Champ. I don't, Sport, that's probably another one. That one's kind of annoying.
How often are you called Sport though? Like I feel like Buddy and Boss are the ones that get used a lot. Those get thrown around.
Oh yeah, definitely a Junior. That one's annoying.
Oh,
yeah. That one's really annoying. What's another one that can't say that one? Where is this one?
When Seth's filter tells him he can't say something, you know it's bad.
Yeah.
This is a good list. What is my last one? Buckaroo. No, I don't know Buckaroo.
No one says that one, Seth. Pick another
come
one.
On. My mom says that one. Super annoying. Mom, I know you'll hear this. Don't call me Buckaroo.
I hope she does.
Yeah, she definitely didn't hear it.
Yeah. Is that 3 or 4, good. Seth?
I don't know what I said.
You got Champ Sport Buckaroo.
Champ Sport Buckaroo. I want to say probably another one. Probably like Little Fella. Like that one's annoying.
Oh, yeah.
I've never got called Little Fella because I've never been like small, but like I can definitely see why that would be annoying to smaller people.
Anything like big guy, little guy, I feel like no one wants that.
Well, Seth, here's the other thing too: is like Little Fella can also be used as a put down for other people, like Little John, right? When Robin Hood and Little John, like Little John was a big dude, so that was like maybe that was initially a put down. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I don't know.
Amigo,
and it's just stuck.
Amigo
is actually a good one, Seth.
All right. Well, I think that does it. We'll think of some more, Mount Rushmores, kind of gets the creative juices flowing a little bit. See what the next one is. We'll be, taking a little hiatus here for a little bit. Catch us on Twitter. Catch me on Twitter at TFF Dudes. Give us a like, give us a sub. Remember, don't be rude. Share the dudes. Really helps us out. We will see you next time, guys. And as always, take care.